I have to turn down the TV. Lord, I don't want you all seeing my leg. Making all this noise. Welcome to... I had to do over the live because I realized I was using the wrong phone. Welcome to I'm a Rasta for Life, the National Board of Comments on YouTube. Let me see this one. I like the filter, it's nice, right? Today's Sunday. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. And giving God thanks and glorifying Him as we should while we're living on earth. So while we're living on earth, the reason we are here is because we're supposed to seek Him. And then when you find Him, usually that's through the Bible. You're supposed to, go by scriptures and what it says. It's not everybody believes in God. It isn't everyone that believes in Jesus, the Son of God. The Son of Man. So when you read your Bible, you're supposed to be inspired by it. And there's, doctrines, commands. What else? A lot of stuff. So I read my Bible because it relates to what's going on in the world today. And when I read my Bible, I can relate it to what's going on in the world today. And then the Bible is like an instruction of how to deal with people and observe what people are about, right? And it also explores good people and wicked people. And it also explores practices, all kinds of practices, be they lawful or unlawful. Now, when you read the Bible and you read about lawful and unlawful practices, a lot of people don't like it. Why? Because you might be engaging in one of those unlawful practices. And once it's written in scriptures, it's not going to be taken out. It's not going to disappear. It will remain for all time. Now, so Romans is like is like a theme letter from Paul. And I heard a comment where this story about Paul is not true. Why? Because the person who commented that is clearly uneducated. And the reason they said that this story is not true about Paul is because when it says that Paul hoped to go to Jerusalem, Rome, and Spain, and he wrote this letter in preparation, but we know what happened to Paul, right? Okay. They said that this story about Paul is not true because in those days there was no Spain. And that comment was made due to lack of education and insight. In the Roman times, the Romans ruled nearly 3/4 of the world, right? I mean, they were taking over. They even took over the place I was born, which is Great Britain. You know where Queen Elizabeth lived? Before it was called Great Britain, the Romans called it, say, Gratis Britannia or whatever in Roman, right? Britannia, whatever, right? Spain in the Roman times was called Hispania. Now, if you're not educated, you just won't know that. You just will not know that. But you'll talk foolishness on social media and people will believe you because they're just as uneducated. And when you try to educate people about the scriptures, they already know everything. There's nothing you can tell them. Nothing. But yet, when they're talking and trying to desecrate what's in the Bible, they spout out their poison and people believe it. So if you're going to say that what Paul was doing is all a lie because there was no Spain at that time, woe unto you for your judgment day, because you have not sought knowledge. On this wonderful Sunday. Now, the Almighty is not someone to play with, as much as we on earth continue to play with him. This is just the message, and I'm just the messenger. Romans 1. The wrath of the Almighty is being revealed from heaven against all the godliness and wickedness of men and people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. Since what may be known about the Almighty is plain to them because the Almighty has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, the Almighty's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men and people are without excuse. For although they knew the Almighty, they neither glorified him as the Almighty, nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the Almighty, immortal God for images made to look like mortal man and birds and animals and reptiles. Therefore the Almighty gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is forever praised. Amen. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural relations for unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed indecent acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their perversion. I might change the settings to not for children, because just in case, I don't want any children to get like confused with this, because it's very, very deep. And then, it's basically about the wrath of God and how he feels. And even though, children will be afraid hearing this, based on sexual perversion. I mean, uh, I mean, what are we to do? We're supposed to explain and reason with our children about why God feels this way about that practice. That's the only recourse that you could do. You can't push them away and say, oh no, we can't talk about that. Because why? It's in the Bible that everybody swears over and worships and reads and all of this. So if you're reading something in the Bible that's uncomfortable to you, then you should seek God about it. Because you cannot serve two masters and act like it's okay on earth for you to do that. You can't. You just can't. And then glorify these people like they're created and worshipped. And in Romans 24, it clearly shows you what's going on. Right now, in 2022, as I speak on social media, this is what's going on right now. Therefore, Romans 1 verses 24. Therefore, God, let me say God so we can get it clear. I say the Father because God is not really his name. People say God because he's, but that's not his name, right? Okay. But it's the Father. Therefore, the Father gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. Verses 25. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie. They exchanged the truth of the Father for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is forever praised. Amen. Because of this, the Father gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural relations for unnatural. In the same way, the men and people also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed indecent acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their perversion. Furthermore, since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of the Father, he gave them over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done. You hear that? Because the Almighty is in control. not we. Furthermore, again, since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of the Father, he gave them over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done. They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greedy, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They are senseless, fatherless, heartless, ruthless. Although they know the Father's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do so, these very things, but also approve of those who practices them. And that's the message in Romans 1:18 I read through to 32. God's wrath against mankind. Have a blessed Sunday.